Yeah.
Greetings everybody, welcome back to another entry of the weekly anime update. Today we're doing things a little bit different. Today we're just going to focus in on one series. I finally caught up. It is time to talk about Dororo, episode 1 through 7. So just before I begin, this isn't like a recollection of every single episode. I'm sort of just talking about the series as a whole, as where it stands right now. I'm not gonna go nitpicking into each of the episodes because my memory will not serve me very well there, and I feel like I'm gonna miss a lot of things that way. So I really just want to talk about how this show has made me feel, and honestly how good the show really is. So Dororo opens up to mappa. First things first. Like, just the backgrounds, the animation, the mood of it all, the vibe of it all, it feels like feudal Japan. And it feels like feudal Japan in a way that I haven't seen in an anime in a very long time. I feel like these kinds of stories aren't being told very often, and when they are being told, it's really tropey, it's really dumb. You see anime pretty boys with bright spiked up red hair, wearing pink armor, fighting monsters or fighting Nobunaga for the 1000th time. This series, we're not doing that. That's not what this series is about. This series is, I wouldn't say grounded in reality, because there is, it's all fictional. There's demons, there's ghouls, there's weird characters and things of that sort, but it's grounded in its own reality that is very believable. From the very opening sequence to the last episode I watched last night, it feels like everything is serving a purpose here. Everything is serving a purpose to a larger story, the story of Dororo, or the story of hyakkimaru. Hyakkimaru as a character. Actually, we'll talk about the titled character, Dororo, first. I like this kid a lot, and I won't lie to you, full disclosure, I did not like him right off the bat. I thought he was just a little twerp, his voice was kind of annoying, and I'm like, this is Dororo? I thought the samurai dude was Dororo. I gotta root for him? And I am rooting for him by the latest episode I watched. You really, really care about this little dude. The stuff that they were doing in the Mio song episode, I'll get into a little more detail on that specific story arc there, but him sort of being able to realize what's going on, her serving these children and keeping them safe and feeding them food and making promises to them, all on the backbone of a lie that only Dororo sort of understands. I think even if he told these other kids, they wouldn't get it the way Dororo does, because they talk about his family, his mother, and how that's basically how she died. And you see that emotion there immediately from his character. And this isn't the first time you see Dororo in that type of scenario. I mean, obviously that type of scenario specifically, yeah, this is the first time we see it, but that was a powerful scene. That was really, really powerful. Just him making that realization when he first sees everything that's going on, and it hurt me as a viewer. It caught me off guard, because I did not know that we were dealing with that kind of stuff in this series. I don't know how many liberties this series is taking from Tezuka's work. I don't know if, like, it's hard for me to imagine, I should say, Tezuka's work in that manner. So I definitely have to believe that they're taking some liberties here and there, and it's working really, really well. I mean, it was not like grotesque in the wrong ways. It's grotesque because it's telling you a story. It's showing you what is happening. It's not like in your face or anything like that. It's very, I don't want to say respectfully done, because that's the wrong word, absolutely, but it's done in a way that's grounded. It's not, anime. It feels like it's grounded in the reality that the series has created thus far. Hyakkimaru as a character, I love his story. I truly do. The first episode, him being this gross little demon ball and drifting off, it's so poetic and folky. It feels like Japanese folklore, and I don't know if this story is based on Japanese folklore, but it feels very, just, again, poetic. It feels like this is very important. This story is important. Hyakkimaru is important. Dororo is important. All of these characters that are intertwined in his story serve a purpose, and it all feels so meaningful in a way. But when he drifts off into this boat, he meets, or I shouldn't say meet, but Jukai finds him. And Jukai's story, there's an episode literally called The Story of Jukai, was one of my favorite episodes out of the 7 that I watched last night. Or the 6 I watched the first episode a while ago. But Jukai's story was so good. So good. That entire episode him and his sort of disciple, someone he rescued from the war, and his backstory with the war, how he killed people for the Sakai clan. I believe it was the Sakai clan. He killed people for them, and he was frustrated with who he was as a person. He's not asking for forgiveness. He threw himself off a cliff. He wants to punish himself, but for some reason he's still alive, and he decided to use that to serve the greater good, not for forgiveness, but because he is still alive. And I really respected that as a character, and I really respected it as an arc, as a form of writing. I really love redemption kind of stories, especially when the character doesn't necessarily see it as redemption, how he's kind of put back by it all, and he's very unjust with who he is, and realizes that he is a bad person. And when, I can't remember his disciple's name, when the boy finds out that he was a part of the Sakai clan, that he, killed people, and he killed his parents, the boy's parents died in that war, I really like his kind of realization of it all. Like, you are the epitome of evil in my life. This is something that I grew up hating, and you are a part of that in some way. And that, just watching that unfold, watching that whole scene there was just absolutely awesome. This is all before he even falls upon, not Dororo, Hyakkimaru. This is before the boat drifts up. We see all of this stuff going on. He is making prosthetics for fallen soldiers and children that have been hurt in the war and things of that such. And we see that he's sort of a master of his craft. This is how Hyakkimaru gets his body. This is how Hyakkimaru sort of has these like sword arms and things of that sort. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I really like that story. It was the first episode that kind of caught me off guard. I think that was episode 3, where you're kind of like, whoa, okay. What do we do? This is cool. This is cool. You're kind of like, you just settle into it. And that's something else I have to mention as well, is just being able to settle into the show. Now, I was trying to find a place to watch the show. It was difficult to find it online, and I'm like, screw it. I'm watching this legal. I'm going on Amazon Prime, and God, the quality is so good there. The sound quality to me is the most important. That's what really just engrosses me in the characters and in the story. When you hear those voices, when you hear that soundtrack, a really somber and tragic soundtrack this series has. I fell in love with that. I fell in love with the series with that specific episode, with Jukai's episode. Anyway, we see Hyakkimaru. He drifts up, and at this point, this is after the boy found out that he is basically a demon and a horrible person. He's kind of not knowing what to do with his life anymore. How that part of his life will always catch up to him. But then he finds Hyakkimaru, and he decides to take care of him and build this mechanized wooden body for him. And we see this sort of training sequence, and how he learns how to fight, and how he learns how to differentiate between humans and demons and ghouls and things around him. This is sort of like Hyakkimaru's origin there. I mean, the first episode obviously serves to that, but just seeing how he's become who he is today, I really enjoyed that episode. I think it was probably one of my favorites of the entire bunch. Just again, really good vibes, really just engrossing. My goodness, I cannot express that enough. The story that was told in that episode just felt so important to what was going on, after all that stuff. Then we have the Cursed Sword episode, which was awesome. Again, just more in the animation, I have to say. Mappa, to me, I think this, in terms of just, I don't want to say it's the best animated show, because I don't believe that to be true, but it's definitely, like, it's their most polished, I guess I should say. It feels so, again, grounded. Everything feels like it's working together to serve a purpose, and telling the viewer that this is real. This is real. These characters are real. This environment is real. This is feudal Japan. These are demons. This is the Sakai army. This is, all these characters and everything. It just feels so engrossing, and I don't think it's just the animation. I really do think it's the character design and the soundtrack and everything kind of just working together there. In the episode about the Cursed Sword, we see this lady's brother that's coming back from the war. She's been praying for him to come back after 5 years. He finally does, but he has succumbed to this demon blade, and basically he has to feed the sword blood, and it kind of drives him crazy, and Hyakkimaru has to basically stop him. In this episode, we see Dororo wield the blade as well, and I like this episode because this was the most action-packed episode. We got the most fluid animation and things of that sort. A lot of just really cool shots and just really, man, I love when the camera's just set back. We have two characters in the front of the screen just going at it with swords. Like, that to me is just awesome. I love sword fighting and animation. Sword of the Stranger, that final fight scene to me is the greatest animated fight scene of all time. And I'm getting, obviously not that quality here, but I'm getting those vibes here. I'm seeing that sort of conveyed here, and that's beautiful. The episode itself was really, really good. Probably my least favorite of the bunch, to be honest with you. Then least favorite is not a bad thing. Least favorite is like, it's not incredible, it's just great. It's not incredible, it's just a bar below. Definitely, you know, least favorite doesn't mean anything when talking about the series, because every episode to me was just fantastic. Then we get into the story of Mio, and Mio's story, this is a two-part episode. Now, all the episodes sort of continue and bleed into each other, but this one was a very deliberate two-part type of episode. And it made me cry. It made me freaking cry, alright? And that's what happened in this episode. Mio's story was absolutely beautiful. We saw him get his hearing back. I think in the previous episode before that, we see a beautiful cut of the old man wanderer, the priest, fighting that demon bird. It's probably the best cut in the entire series so far. He pulls out his sword and it goes into super, like, oh my goodness, that, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It looks so good. But he has his hearing at this point, and Mio's song is the only thing that sort of soothes him. He can't differentiate sounds, and everything's kind of confusing him, and it's hurting his ears, it's hurting his head. He can't separate things, and he doesn't learn how to pick things out of sound yet. And the thing that he picks out of all of the sound is Mio's song. We find this lady, she's singing on the river banks, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song. Really have to give props to the voice actress there, just spectacular. Really gotta give props to Amazon Prime, by the way, for actually listing cast members. I don't know another anime service that does that, like with pictures of them, and you can click on them and things of that sort. Like, really cool. I don't love Amazon Prime in terms of a service itself. There's some pretty cool originals and things like that. But like little details like that, that's how you kind of get the edge over other services. Like Crunchyroll does not do that, which is something that I think that they should do, because celebrating these voice actors is a part of the industry, you know? But I really have to give props to the voice actress there. Her voice was just so beautiful, and I'm watching this at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know? I'm settling in, I'm snuggling up in bed, I'm laying down right here, I have my laptop on this little desk right here, I'm just chilling, just watching this and just falling in love with Mio as a character, and her sort of backstory and everything, the promises that she's made to these kids, the seeds for the rice patties, like, just so beautiful. And we see Hyakkimaru kind of dealing with this. He's hurt from a previous battle, or he fights this giant sand beetle, and that's an epic fight as well. The old man kind of assists him there. He gets hurt real bad. He gets his leg lobbed off, which is just brutal. And while that's all happening, this is the best directed episode, by the way, we see Dororo make the realization of what Mio has been doing for money to support these kids, and this is all happening at the same time. And also something else is happening is the entire land has been awaiting rain. It hasn't rained in a very long time, and everyone's rice paddies are just dried out, their crops are just dead, and it finally rains, and this is all sort of intertwined within each other. You have this, like, incredible, you know, drum line just going in the background. It just, oh my goodness, I really, really love that episode. I really, really love that scene. Just, it felt so visceral and cerebral and just really freaking cool. I love just how all of that was intertwined within each other. Incredible direction. I got to start doing some research on who these directors are, who these writers are, who's doing the character design here, because I really, Mappa to me as a studio is one of the best studios in the business. Obviously, you know, that goes to Bones because of, you know, their track record and the work that they put out, but Mappa to me is the most interesting studio in the business. I just love the projects that they handle. I love the different, you know, it's very weird. A lot of their series are really weird. You have like Inuyashiki and Old Man Cyborg. Like, that's kind of stupid and weird. I mean, that show itself, I don't think it, you know, speaks volumes in terms of quality, but it's still a really interesting show. And then there's things like, I believe Kokoku, I know that was Genos, but I heard that like Genos Studio was a part of Mappa, or is Mappa now. That also, I believe Genos was also Inuyashiki as well, but like, that's Kokoku was such an interesting, weird, visceral kind of experience. Honestly, I'd call it an experience over a TV series. And then there's, of course, Bananafish, a series that is very important to this channel and just so different, vastly different than anything else that aired that year, and should have been acknowledged for that at the Anime Awards, but that's a whole nother argument to be had there, a whole nother video to be made there. But now we have Dororo, and there's a few other series that Mappa has handled in the past as well. Wolf's Rain is one of them. I love just the vibe that Mappa carries with them. You can tell that this is from those people that made Inuyashiki, that made Kokoku, that made Bananafish. I don't even think it's the same staff, to be honest with you. It's just the vibe, the sort of weight that they bring to it. The story feels important, and I think that's the most important thing to do to a story, because a lot of these things can come off as melodramatic, especially stuff in Bananafish. My goodness, that stuff could come off as so stupid and cheesy, but it all works with how the series is directed and just composited, and I really, really love Mappa as a studio. It's like a studio that I look forward to what they're working on next. Whenever I hear that a series is going to be animated and directed and produced by Mappa, I get excited because I know there's going to be, I wouldn't say quality, because Mappa's not like the best in terms of animation. They're very serviceable. They're definitely up there. They're not like a bad studio or anything like that, but sort of their take on it. You know, Bananafish was an older manga series that was brought back into anime form, and this is Tezuka's work, the grandfather of manga, one of the leading pioneers in manga as a medium. This is his work, the creator of Astro Boy, and the fact that this has an anime series, a very violent, a very bleeding edge type of series, is just wild to me. It truly is, and I look forward to what Mappa does with the rest of the series. I believe it's a 12-episode run. Mio's episode, wow, just wow, one of the best episodes of anime I have watched this year, easily. I've really, really liked it. It's very emotional. Seeing them all perish under, was it the Sakai clan that did that, or was it the other side? I'm still kind of getting attached to the names and everything, but she was working on both sides of the war, and got caught in the act, and basically was labeled a spy, and then they murdered everyone in that little castle, and that was just so brutal and so hard to watch, and seeing Dororo's reaction to that, and seeing Hyakkimaru's reaction, and him kind of losing himself, the inner monologue of his character isn't much. There's not much to hold on to in terms of, you know, Hyakkimaru's development as a character, but it's visual development, and you see anguish here. You see anger and the need and want for vengeance. And before that, we had the priest speaking about how he is a beast in a cave right now, and we don't know what's going to come out of that cave. Is it going to be a demon, or is it going to be our old Hyakkimaru? And here we see glimpses of that demon. He slaughters like at least 8 people there quite easily, and just makes a mess of everything. Cuts them down. Beautiful, beautiful animation. Castle falling apart, burning in the background. It's making me look forward to other samurai, feudal Japan stories. I love that this is kind of the year for that. We have Sekiro coming out in a couple of weeks. That game looks incredible. I'll probably be streaming it because just because of this anime alone. And then we of course have Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if that's this year or not, but like there's this, like, just sword wielders and feudal Japan, ninja, like all these things are just, I love so much. And to me, this is like the peak of it. This is the very highest peak of how good this stuff can get. It's still a medium, it's still a genre of storytelling that there's room for stories like this. There's room for stuff like this. And I know these types of stories have been told in Japan, especially, you know, in modern history and schools and things like that. These kinds of stories are told, stuff about Nobunaga and all that. I know this isn't new to them, but it's new to Western audiences, and that's I love that we are privileged enough to get these types of stories here and have them English dubbed and be able to follow along. And it's Tezuka's work. Everything just feels so important here. Everything is just so beautiful here. It is my favorite series of 2019 so far. And that's not easy to say, because I watched it. By the way, I'm talking exclusively about Dororo in this episode of Weekly Anime Update, but I did watch Mob Psycho 100, Promised Neverland, and Shield Hero. Those were all pretty good episodes, especially Mob Psycho. My goodness, that episode, it was hard just to make this episode exclusively Dororo, but you know, after watching the entire series, it's been something I've been kind of teasing here on this series for a little while now. I definitely have just grown attached to this series, and I look forward to every episode now, and it's wow, just wow. Next week I will be talking more about the other series, the other plethora of shows that are airing right now. I might even catch up to like other series. That's kind of what this, you know, I don't want this series to be tied exclusively to those shows, and if you're not watching those shows, you know, you can't watch this, basically. That's why I do enjoy covering a multitude of shows, because a lot of people can, you know, join in on this, on the discussion. They might not have watched Mob Psycho, but they're huge fans of Shield Hero and want to, you know, hear my opinion on it. There's going to be some episodes where I don't talk about any of those series. I might watch an anime movie or catch up on Boruto or something and want to talk about that. That's kind of what this is for. It's just going to be a weekly anime update about stuff that I'm watching. And if you want to recommend anything that I should be watching that has aired in 2019, leave a comment down below and let me know, because I'm down to start binge watching some anime. There's a lot of stuff I haven't watched yet. Kaguya-sama, I've only watched the first episode. I'd be down to catch up on that. I'd be down to talk about that in a weekly anime update. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I haven't watched. Let me know, like, not the super popular stuff, the tier below that, like the stuff that people aren't really talking about. Let me know about those series, and let me know if I should be watching it or not. Thank you so very much for watching this entry in the weekly anime update. It means a lot to me. This was a beefy entry, and I just talked about one series. Man, Dororo is so good, and I look forward to watching every single episode. Might be doing some reactions, I don't know. You know, when we get towards the end of the series, I'm sure I might crack out the camera and do a reaction. They air on Monday nights, so you know how that goes on this channel, late night reactions. But definitely a series that I'm going to be talking about in the future with this channel. So I just want to thank you guys very much. Thank you for getting through the entire video. That's kind of a rarity. If you did get through this, my hat is off to you. Comment down below, give me all of your thoughts on Dororo as well. Let's talk about this series. There's something that I missed. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that I missed, obviously. I think there's a whole episode I missed with the spider. So comment below, we could talk about that stuff. Hit me up on Twitter at FumenShowTweets to get updates on this channel and some personal stuff as well. You can get my quick opinion on certain things and gaming news and stuff of that sort. Also, the Discord as well. The Discord is something I'm kind of trying to push now. It's a good place to kind of keep in touch and just have a good time and again, get updates on the channel and then all the things alike. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more content on the channel. Thank you all for supporting me and subscribing and watching all my videos. You guys mean the world to me. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.